guys, welcome to the newest episode of Blu-ray Tuesday with Terrell. Hey guys, we're back for another episode. So, where we left off last week, I went to go see Ninja Turtles, TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Let me tell y'all, I'm not gonna spoil nothing, but y'all need to go watch this movie. I love Ninja Turtles. Growing up, I had like 2 or 3 Ninja Turtle parties, and my favorite's Michelangelo. What's yours in the comments? Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Anyway, so they came out with this new one. Seth Rogen was a part of this. He played, I think, Rocksteady or Bebop, one of these characters. I think it was Bebop. And basically, it's almost like another retelling of the characters. So it gives you kind of a backstory of how these turtles came to be and the villains, the whole villain family. So I will say, the movie was great. It was short and sweet, it felt like. It was straight to the point, had a lot of comedy. The soundtrack was great. It was like a hip hop type of feel, like all the songs were like old school hip hop, 90s, early 2000s. And I felt like, I don't know, I felt like a black movie. I felt like these turtles were like all black characters. It was great. They all had their different distinctive attitudes and whatnot. I don't know. It was great. And they all wanted to be a part of the real world. There's a whole like meaning behind this kind of sort of. But you know, Master Splinter, he a rat, and nobody likes no damn rats. So he was treated unfairly by the human folk when he was turned to a giant rat. People don't like rats when they're small, so why? All right, so the turtles get older, and they're just like, I want to get into the real world. Oh, they only leave to get groceries. They go steal toilet paper and shit from the grocery store. And then they come back and their whole dream, like Little Mermaid, I want to be part of your world. It was like that. Oh my God. Somebody's shooting at that. It's almost like Little Mermaid. They want to be part of the human world. There's the other side. The other mutants that were infected were other bugs and shit. So Superfly, which was Ice Cube. He was probably my favorite. He was great. He was a great villain. He wanted to kill the humans, basically. He wanted to take over the world and make all animals mutants. So that's the whole movie, and it all plays out. Miss April O'Neil, she's at high school. She's like, want to be a reporter. That's like her dream and all this stuff. But she's like nervous to be in front of a camera. Like what we doing right here. She don't like cameras. She'd be throwing up. I don't know. This movie's hella fun. I had a good time watching it. It was very nostalgic. The fight scenes were epic. Go watch it. They're supposed to do a sequel to this movie. It's already greenlit. And they're doing like a Netflix or Hulu, I don't know, some TV show on one of these streaming platforms. But yeah, go check that out. I really liked it. Also that I watched this past week was Meg 2. All right, I love Jason Statham. So any little action movie he played the same character in all his movies. I don't give a fuck. He's great. I love me some Jason Statham from not Incredibles, the fuck am I saying? Expendables. He's also in, you know, like the Crank movies, Fast and Furious, you know, Family. Anyway, so Meg 2. So it opens up, you know, part 1, that he had a love interest, and then she had a daughter, and they fought a Meg and all this shit. This one opens up with some motherfucking dinosaurs. I was like, what are we watching, Jurassic World? So you get dinosaurs running the earth, and you got little raptors running around, you got little fish, and the dinosaurs are trying to eat the raptors were eating turtles, you know, Ninja Turtles. And then you got a megalodon jumping out, and they ate the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I was like, what the fuck? And then it goes back to our time. Where did this dinosaurs, the fuck? And then you get back to the story of Jason Statham. He a secret agent. He trying to get some intel from some, I don't know, action movies. He had the little Avengers team of people. The daughter is back from the first movie, but the mama's absent. So I was so confused. What happened to the mama? Well, I guess I looked it up. There was scheduling conflicts, and they let her go in the wackest way possible. They just had like this scene like, oh, she passed away, and they just had her, you know, it was like this little party, and the guy was up there announcing something, so, oh, none of this could have happened if it wasn't for Bing Bing. I forgot her name, but her real name in real life is Lily Bing Bing or some shit like that. But anyway, she's great, but Bing Bing wasn't in it, and I like Bing Bing. Anyway, so she died apparently between 1 and 2. Jason Statham's character, he is the guardian of the data. And then she has her uncle, of course. Her uncle's like a fucking daredevil. He tried to be Jason Statham, but he not. So he be underwater. They have a megalodon that they had captured. So in the little underwater intel thing, they got a megalodon that he be training with a clicker. So for years they've been trying. He be under the water playing with a megalodon shark. I don't know why, because that shit's scary. Who want to play with a shark? I don't. The fuck? I don't like going to the water. Anyway, so you got the megalodon. He got it the click, click, click. So he'd be listening to him. So, but she been acting weird. He was like, I don't know why she's acting funny. Mind you, the humans, there's some suspect humans. All these people that think you're your friends in this thing, they ain't your friends. There's some twists and some turns in this movie. There's a lot of human shit. Basically, it's the humans versus sharks versus dinosaurs versus raptors versus an octopus. There's an octopus. Miss Ursula came out the blue. Why is there an octopus in the Megalodon movie? There's already 3 Megalodons, and you got a fucking octopus, Miss Ursula. But the Megalodon that they had captured or whatnot that they've been training, she escapes. And then we find out later the bitch was in heat. The bitch wanted some shark dick. She wanted to make her some baby sharks, y'all. She wanted baby shark. What's that shit on Nickelodeon? This bitch wanted to fuck I was like, okay, Meg. They gave her a name, Hibachi or some shit. I don't know. But she was great. She went to go swim away and got her some dick. Probably part 3, she gonna have babies. But I watched it for fun. It was a great popcorn flick. I had a good time watching it. And yeah. It is what it is. I know y'all, all the critics are just panning this movie, bitch. You didn't have fun watching this? I know this shit was crazy. They're made from books. I didn't know those books. I would never read them. But there's a book series about the Megalodons. Like, who gives a fuck? But there's a book series. It's a big thing. I guess it's popular. I forgot to talk about this last week. I'll make it really quick. The Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion. Y'all went to go watch that, and a lot of y'all was shading that shit too. But I will say, Lakeith, whatever his name is, the main character in that was amazing. The acting was great. Tiffany Haddish was pretty funny. Jim Lee Curtis as Madame Leota and Little Ball was great. It wasn't scary. I don't know why people thought that this was supposed to be scary. The Eddie Murphy one, I watched that before, and that shit wasn't scary. It was goofy. But I liked it for what it was. I think I gave them both the same review. I think I gave them both the same 3.5 for each. They're both whatever to me. But the Haunted Mansion was cool. It was solid. Y'all were shading it, but I had a good time watching it. It was a cool, had a meaning with that too. The main character was dealing with loss. Like, he met this woman, he fell in love, he never thought this would happen, and then she gets killed. Like, she died in like a car crash or something. And he felt remorse because she went off to get a hot dog because the bitch was hungry, or some ice cream or some shit. And she invited him and he didn't want to go. He was too involved in his work. And that was the last time he seen her. He didn't get to say his goodbyes and all this good shit. So that was sad. Rosario Dawson and her son. The son always gets picked on because he's like a little goody two-shoes. And she's trying to move him to a new place to make new friends, make new life for each other. I guess his daddy wasn't, you know, he passed away as well. So it's a lot about loss. This movie had a lot of, it's kind of a sad movie now that I'm thinking about it. They move into this house and there's these ghosts. They'll be running away from this evil ghost. There's one big boss ghost that wants to be human again. So he takes people's souls. So once you enter this house, you stuck because you got to come back. Like, if you try to leave, you're going to be pulled right back. So basically they had to solve the mystery of how to stop this evil ghost. And I had fun with this. It was a good time. All right, before we get into some other movies, we're going to talk about some Blu-rays. Speaking of haunted shit, Nickelodeon put out Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island. Only on DVD. There's no Blu-rays on this. But I didn't know this shit was coming out. I saw a couple people post it and I was like, oh, I gotta get that. I own the first 2 and I ain't never watched them. And I probably, you know, I gotta add it to the list, but I do wanna check this out. I love Are You Afraid of the Dark when I was younger, so it's very nostalgic for me. And this seems fun. I mean, this one sounds interesting. This Ghost Island with these 4 best friends. They're part of the Midnight Society of some sort, and they get more than they bargained for in the little trip. Something mysterious happens on this Ghost Island. So, yeah, I'm excited to check that out. Next up is a movie I ain't never seen. Maybe y'all seen it. I think it came out in the 90s. But the only reason I got this is because it was $3.99. I repeat, $3.99 on Amazon. Heat in 4K Ultra HD. I guess this got re-released a few months ago or early this year or late last year. And I don't know, I've never seen this movie, but it stars Mr. Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro. Like all these heavy hitter people, right? It looks like an action movie. This is a definite director's cut of some sort. It looks like Disney released it. There's no slipcover, but it was only $3.99. And it had the Blu-ray, the digital, and the 4K, bitch. That's a bargain. So I had to get it. Heat. So I know a lot of y'all other collectors, y'all got this too, but I don't know. I never seen it. Have y'all like this? It says it's awesome and epic. Who knows? All right, guys. So over this past weekend, also I did try to check out something new. I listened to the movie Crypt by Adam Green. Him and Joe Lynch were talking with Miko Winbush. So I had never heard of this Miss Miko Winbush, but apparently she won a show called Project Greenlight. This was an old show, and I never heard about this show. Apparently, if y'all remember, back in the day, there was a couple movies that came from the show, but the one that stood out to me was Feast. It took place maybe, I think, in 2005, 2006, about all the people stuck in a bar and these little monsters attacking them. Apparently, they came from a reality show called Project Greenlight. And what this is their old show. It had, like, I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They came together and they picked the best director they felt would match the movie. And then the whole season would be about them making the movie. And at the end, the movie will come out. Well, they rebooted it with Issa Rae, the other guy, the Indian guy from the Eternals movie. I forgot his name. Cahill something. I don't know. We'll put that here somewhere. Anyway, so he's in it, and basically they watch all these videos from these 10 directors, but they wanted to make this apparent that they wanted a girl to win, so they picked 10 female directors. They wanted a woman director to, you know, do this film. So this movie, every season something different. This movie is a sci-fi thriller. So they had all these women do these a scene from the movie, and then they would all watch it. So episode 1, they all watch all the little shorts to see which one they feel matched what they wanted for this movie. So again, the script's not done. They want to pick someone that's going to evolve the script and all this stuff. So The movie's called Gray Matter, and it's on HBO Max, or well, it's called Max now, formerly HBO Max, formerly HBO. But anyways, it's on that, so on the Max streaming service. The show and the movie dropped at the same time. But what I did is I watched the movie first, and then I watched the first episode of the show. I was gonna try to see what the show was about. But apparently this show, they picked their winner, which was Miko Winbush, and after that, they just show the chronicles of them casting, filming, production, adding to the story, the script, and they give her unrealistic deadlines. They have her, who's never made a feature film, come up with stuff. So there's a lot of drama on this show because of that, but we have a conclusion. They finally put out the movie, and I mean, the movie was whatever. It was like a sci-fi movie to me, like sci-fi channel movie. Basically, it's about a girl, 16-year-old girl, who realizes she has these powers. She's a psionic, where you have telepathy, where you could like read people's minds and talk to people through your minds, and she also could move things with her minds, but she don't know how to control the shit. And her mama, she's a elevated psychonic, or whatever they call it, because she could use astral projection. That's like the top tier shit. She sneaks out because her mom shelters this young girl because she don't want her to go nowhere because she's afraid of her powers. So she sneaks out to hang out with this new cute boy she met and his friends. And what happens? The mama was right. She didn't know how to control her powers, and the shit just came out and she killed the boy. Something went through his neck, girl, because she moved it and it stabbed him in the neck and killed him. So she's like, I need help. And all the friends are like, you need help? You just killed this man. He needs help. And I was laughing. That shit was funny to me. This Secret Service people found out that she was using her powers and they kidnapped the bitch. So they lock her up in some crazy house, y'all. And then the mom has telepathy. She's like, oh my God, my daughter's in trouble. So as she's in this hell house or whatever, this evil villain, well, you didn't know he was a villain at the time. Well, he's like, oh, you shouldn't trust your mother because the mom has a secret past. She used her powers not so for good, or did she? We don't know. But I'm not gonna spoil it because y'all need to watch it. But check it out on HBO Max, called Gray Matter. All right, so the next couple movies, we're gonna get through 3 movies real quickly. I'm not gonna spoil these too much, but I wanna talk about these because they all star the same guy. So this man's been busy, and this is Kyle Gallner. So he was in Scream 5, he played Stu's nephew, the one that was hooking up with Chad's girlfriend at the time before they started dating. He died very quickly in Scream 5, but yeah, y'all know him. Anyways, he was also in Smile. So he's been in big box movies. So he's not 1, 2, but he's in 3 fucking movies these past 2 weeks. The first one I want to talk about is What Comes Around. So this movie crazy. Apparently this movie was in the film fests circuit for a minute, and it was called Roost. I don't know what that means. There's a whole meaning behind it, and I think it really could tell you what this movie's about. But this is like a psychological thriller. The movie's about a mother and a daughter. So it opens up with the girl. She has this best friend, all talking about dating guys and all this stuff. You know, growing up girls, trying to, you know, have sex and all this stuff. She has been chatting online. Like, she'd be video chatting, texting with this guy who apparently lives 900 miles away. So she's like, oh, I'll never meet this man. But the catch is, she's 16, about to turn 17, and his ass is like, he claims in his early 20s, but he lied. He in his early 30s, he old. So as the time goes on, she's getting really attached to this guy. Her birthday rolls around. Her mom is like making her a vegan cake because the bitch don't like meat. I don't know what vegan cake tastes like, but that sounds weird. So it's her birthday, y'all. So she's all, you know, like, I'm turning 17, and this guy wants to surprise her. He's telling her, oh, I'm gonna give you something for your birthday. And she's like, oh, well, you don't know my address. And then she runs off to go celebrate the birthday with her mom. The mom is recently engaged to a new guy that she's been dating, so they're all happy about that. Her and the mom and the daughter are very, very, very close. They're like sisters. She has her little birthday, and then as she leaves, she gets a video call from the dude that she's been talking to. I forgot his name. I think his name's like Eric or something. He calls her, and guess where he is, y'all? He outside her house! So he found her address. How did he find her address? So she gets spooked. And she turns it off. She's like, no, no, no. How you find my house? So apparently she eases into it and she says, okay, we can meet. They hang out, they end up fucking. And then in her own room. And then the mom comes in the room, didn't even knock. And then the boy, he had to like hide. He had to hide under the bed. And then she just pretended like nothing was happened. And as the movie progresses, her friends are all hanging out with people like, oh, what are you doing? You're still talking to this guy? She's been secretly meeting him because he'd be living out of his car because he drove 900 miles. Apparently he lying. But yeah, I don't want to spoil this too much, but basically the twists and turns of this movie are crazy. This touches on a touchy subject about grooming, about an older guy grooming a girl, but then the twist is even more engaging. It's like crazy. It's like a trio of something. The movie's called What Comes Around. So what you do come back to you. Karma, bitch. So you gotta watch it. This movie's crazy as hell. The acting's bad. And I will say the main girl who plays the little 17-year-old, she laughs at everything. She has this really weird fake laugh that bugged me throughout the movie, I will say. And then Kyle Gallner, he's the one that plays the older gentleman who's grooming this girl, but there's a reason. He has this trauma because of what happened in his past. And the past connects to another character, but you gotta watch it, because I was goop gagged and the gumption of it all, y'all. So be careful who you got talking to on the internet and getting entangled with all these TikToks and shit. All right, so moving on to his second feature that did drop this past weekend is The Passenger. Now this shit is gritty, dark, intense, crazy. It's a character study about these two guys. So it stars Randy, a meeky fucking, whatever someone tells him to do, he does it. If they say how jump, he says how high. Like, he lets people run all over him, and he works at a burger joint, and his coworker is Kyle Gallner's character, who's also has a traumatic past that we learn throughout the film, but he comes off as this got it together guy who's just a little dark and like crazy. If you guys like The Ruins from 2008 and Swallowed from this past year from Carter Smith, he actually directed this feature as well. Yeah, so basically it opens up, the boy, his mom is super overbearing. She asks him what kind of shirt he's wearing, did he iron his jeans, what did he eat for dinner, make sure you do this, come home at 6 o'clock, all this, it's like bad. But it opens up with a girl, he's a little kid, something happened, and there's this girl screaming. Blood is coming out of her face, and she's screaming, and then it cuts to him. So something happened in his past when he was a kid. Did he stab this bitch? I don't know. Y'all gotta watch it. But he has a traumatic thing, so ever since that, that's why he acts like this. It opens up with him going to the burger joint. His coworkers are all shitty. They come to work late. The boss, he gives these high expectations like every other job, and expects them to do it, but he talks to Randy, the main character, like he's like a piece of shit, and it's fucked up. Kyle Gallner don't like that, how everyone be talking to him. And then the other coworker, he came in late with his girlfriend. They both worked together. They'd be fucking. They were fucking in the back room before they could even, you know, clock in. He was trying to get it in before he got on, right? As that happened, he goes up to Randy as he's sweeping and trying to get ready for the day. And he's like all in Randy's face, telling him to eat a day-old sandwich, and he did it. It's so stupid. So Kyle Gallner got mad, so he walked out. He was like, leave him alone. She warned him to leave him alone. He kept saying, leave Randy alone. And the guy was like, oh, if you get in my fucking face again, I'm gonna break your hand and all this stuff. You know, he thought he was very macho. I don't know. Anyways, Kyle Gallner's character, he'd go outside, he'd go smoke a cigarette, but then he'd look at his trunk. He popped the trunk and grabbed a shotgun, y'all. He got a shotgun, went back up into this restaurant, and blew that man's brains out. Right across, and I was shocked, gooped. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? I went in blind, so I didn't know this. So he blew his brains out, and then the girlfriend is just screaming. She was dumb as fuck. She kept screaming, oh my God. He told the bitch to leave not once, twice, told her to leave 3 times. He didn't want to kill her. She wasn't listening. She just kept screaming. So he blew her brains out. Here come the boss. He sees it, screams, and he runs, blew his back out. And then he had the nerve to tell Mr. Randy to help him clean it up. So they had to clean it all up and threw them all in the freezer, and then he kidnapped Randy and then went on a road trip. Basically, the whole movie, he's trying to get him to stand up for himself. It goes back to when he was a child. So whatever happened when he was a child, I'm not gonna spoil it. He makes him go back to that. So basically they're going on this road trip, and there's a killing spree that inspires as it goes. But there's more than just that. The movie's crazy. It's insane. The passenger. So he's the passenger. So he needed to like man up and you know, hold his ground. But this movie's great. So I want y'all to check this out. It's called The Passenger, and it is streaming on Amazon and all your good, you know, VOD shit. And the last of the Kyle Gallner trilogy that I've watched this week is Mother May I. This also stars Holden Roden from Teen Wolf, and she was also in that Tubi movie I talked about with the Tubi threesome, where she was like the Poison Ivy type of character, like the one trying to get the man, you know, all the Tubi movies like that. Basically, this movie is very intriguing to me. Kyle Gallner and all his trauma in all these movies, his mother abandoned him, so he has all these mommy issues. This movie should have been called Mommy Dearest, because both characters have fucking mommy issues. This should have been Mommy Dearest 2. I don't know why she abandoned him. Y'all gotta watch it. But basically, the other girl, his girlfriend, she also has issues with her mother because her mother never taught her how to swim, or she feel like she's never good enough for her mom and all this stuff. They both want something that they feel they can't get, so they're attached to each other to try to find that, but they haven't found that. But basically, the mom dies, so the mom that abandoned the Kyle Gallner's character, and they go back to the home to try to clean it up to sell it, so they're there for a few days. But as time progresses, they start hanging out, they're starting to pack things away, and they find shrooms. So this little couple, they do shrooms, like bitch, PTA, what is it, PSA? PSA, don't do shrooms, that shit crazy. I would never, I'm scared because all the shit I've been seeing on these movies. Anyway, so they did these shrooms, and after that, they were all acting weird. He was seeing things, she ended up acting like the mom. Basically, the movie is just like a supernatural thing. Is this mom still alive? in this house, and did she take over his girlfriend's body? And at first he's like, what the fuck is you doing? But then he starts taking a liking to it. It's crazy. Is it supernatural? Is she playing a game with him? They play this little game back and forth where they switch sides. Like, she'll sit on this side, like a therapy thing, and she'll ask him, okay, so why are you mad? And he explains it, and they switch. And then he's her and asking her, because she's supposed to play him, why are you mad? So she explains why she thinks he's mad. They play this game back and forth, they switch places. A lot of switching places in this fucking movie. It's on Amazon Prime as well. You rent it, buy it, all that good stuff. But Kyle Gallner's been on it, y'all. He's already gonna be in Smile Part 2, apparently. He got these 3 fucking movies, and his acting is pretty crazy. His range is up in, I think out of the 3, I like The Passenger the best out of the 3, but Mother May I is a close second, and then that other weird one that was very Tubi Lifetime original. Let's get into some more Blu-rays. So this week is mostly Fast and Furious week. #family. Have y'all seen that? We talked about this many times. This movie, they're long running. So Walmart had an exclusive Icon edition where they had exclusive slip that opens up like a little book. They had a cool little thing. Target had character cards for their regular Blu-ray, and Best Buy been doing their thing. All the other Fast and Furious movies all have the same cover, and in the spine they're numbered. So they're continuing that on. Sadly, my Best Buy got Blu-rays and I can't order it online, so I did not get that quite yet, but hopefully I can in the near future because I own all the other 9 just like that. But first, we're gonna get into a movie that I talked about a few weeks ago that just hit Blu-ray today, and it is the black girl, the angry black girl, and her monster. Basically, it's about this girl, Vicaria, and she lost her brother. So to gang violence and shit like this, and she feels like death is like a disease. Like, people get sick, people do this, you could cure it. So I think you can cure. She thinks that you can cure somebody dying. So she gets all these body parts and all this stuff, and she tries to bring her brother back. But what she brings back isn't what she seems. This movie's pretty good. It has its moments. I will say I liked it a lot for what it was, but a lot of parts kind of dragged. Some parts are just like, oh, we didn't need this. But I wanted to love it, but then toward the end, I'm just like, oh, it was cool. You know what I mean? But I liked it. I liked it enough that I bought it. There's no bonus features, sadly, and there's no slipcover, but I had to buy this. The director who did this movie is pretty cool. He was on PVD Horror. Had a cool interview. Check that out if you haven't. This is also streaming on Shudder. So it's a cool urban modern take on the Frankenstein, the Mary Shelley situation. I'm not gonna spoil it, but check it out. If you don't want to buy the Blu-ray, this is like 14 bucks on Amazon. You can also just watch it on Shudder. All right, and the movie of the hour, like I said, is Fast X. So I went with this version. So I know this is the year of fucking part 1s, and then here we go to part 2. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That one just hit VOD, by the way. That ended when it got so good. I know the movie was like 2 hours and something, but that shit was so good. I was like, okay, I want to see what's gonna happen next. And then they cut it off because the next part is next year. Same thing happened with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. At least this kind of had an ending. It wasn't cliffhanger-ish, but you knew that there's more shit coming. And this did the same thing. Big stuff happened at the end of this fucking movie. People might have died, and people are stranded, like, okay, the villain might have won, and it just goes off. I was so mad. But it's because next year, the next one's supposed to come out, like the second part to this. There was only supposed to be a 10 and 11, but they're turning Fast X into a trilogy. So it's gonna be X, X2, and X3. Like, they think of the X-Men or something, I don't know. But this shit's gonna go on forever because this movie made so much fucking money that they're gonna just keep making these family movies. So, family, right? So, the family might be broken up in this movie, but y'all gotta check this out. So I like this a lot. It is a popcorn flick. It isn't the best thing that y'all ever gonna see. It ain't an Oscar-worthy motherfucking movie. It ain't gonna win Grammys or whatever the fuck you win when you get movies. Grammys, that's music. A lot of action in this one. Fast X. I liked it for what it was, and I want to see what's gonna happen next. I know all this shit's getting pushed back because of the whole the strikes. Like, they haven't started on Spider-Man. That's getting pushed back. There's not even a release date anymore. But Fast X, great villain. This dude right here who was in play Aquaman. Great villain. He's very jokerish, very crazy, very sinister, very creepy. Vin Diesel's just still the same. Oh, about my family. And Charlize Theron, she's still like her Catwoman era. She thinks she's a villain, thinks she's a good guy. I don't know what the fuck she thinks she is, but she's in it. And they're bringing back everybody. Everybody that's been in this movie. There's some twists at the end. There's some cameos. There's 2 big cameos at the end of this movie. And they're going all out with this next movie, so I can't wait. And what edition did y'all get? If you guys got Fast X this week, what version did y'all get? Let me know. All right, guys, if you guys need recommendations for movies I should watch, let me know. Listen to the Overlook Hour. That is every Tuesday and Thursday of the week. Horror Boner, stay tuned. Episode 5 will be coming soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.